is this. G2 need to win or they're going home.
It's as simple as that. G2, all the pressure is on them. Can they get the job done? Dokkaebi banned away. Next is the Maverick. G2 following exactly what they done against M80 earlier on. I doubt we'll see a Bandit getting brought out this time around, as that was led to a wild matchup. But Kaid's next to go, leaving Falcons down to that pick your poison aspect. What defender do you ban away, and what of those four very powerful operators do you keep in play for this matchup? And they're gonna have a little bit of deliberation going on. That timer didn't jump down to 3 seconds instantly. They're waiting. They're trying to figure out what will be this ban. Drumroll, please, Gibby. It's the mirror.
So glad it wasn't a Bandit again. I'm so glad we weren't going to see Clubhouse again, where we saw Kaid and Bandit removed from play. So round one, G2 are on attack. Now, is that a good thing? I'm not so sure, because Falcons ran right through G2 last time they tried to attack. They took a 5-1 half. But again, this is their pick. This is their opportunity now to change their own fortunes. Straight off the bat, Falcons are going to go down into basement. The defensive lineup, Mozzie, Azami, Fenrir, Mute, and Melusi. Melusi doesn't get as much play as she used to, Whippet, but again, you put those gadgets in the right place. For example, near the entrance to Dirt, down at the bottom of Blue, pushing towards Generator, it can still have a big impact. But I think as an operator, she has changed how she has played.
I mean, most of that's down to that reduced mobility. Of course, Melusi is not as fast as she used to be, so that flexibility, that action of a roamer has kind of gone away from her, and she's very much kind of more focused on playing close to those boundaries that have a huge impact. And when you have operators like Fenrir combined with Melusi, G2 are in for a very difficult and I think a very frustrating time. But one thing I'll draw your attention to is the amount of roam pressure that Falcons are applying right now. A very extensive hold, rotations all around that top floor. I think their idea is they want to hold on to this best they can and make G2 fight and bleed for every inch of this map.
This is what I love about Fenrir too. You can use some of your gadgets on site. Shalad tries to get aggressive over towards Chains, but doesn't manage to get that fight. But my point is, you can use some of those fear mines on site, use the rest of them on the roam, and change where they are and which ones are active as the round goes on. So G2, they're going to go for your standard clear from the top floor and work their way down. Once we hit that magic number, which is maybe a minute and 10 seconds, we'll see Falcons drop back towards site. And in fact, it looks like they've already done that, but they do look like they're starting to put more pressure on. But Doki get the opening pick.
That's what G2 need. They need to find that opening way more often, way more consistently, and a good start so far. As Shalad's first to go, and again, that's a very early pick to find. There's still around a minute 50 left, and Benja gets himself traded back. You lose that fragging availability and the vertical potential of that buck, and that's down to that extended roam presence of Joker619. And upstairs, he surely knows someone's tantalizingly close. It's Doki lurking top main by pipes. And an extra fear mine to give himself that reassurance. And you get to see that bright mechanic. He juggles what activation code is deployed where, and he's bought himself a safety net. He doesn't need to watch that doorway. He needs to watch construction, and that's it.
That's what we were speaking about as well. Doki tries to get him through the wall, but Joker's able to fall back towards construction. The fear mines will go off. Almo takes a bit of damage, but Joker's doing an incredible job. Not picking up kills here, but just eating up a lot of time in that last 30 seconds. Virtue will wait for him to retreat back to site, but he's a little bit pressed by the fact that I think P9 was still playing. Joker does eventually make it back, but that was excellent time denial there from Falcons as they all make their way back.
Well, they might have suffered the opening death. They've done a great job finding a trade and delaying and dragging out the clock for G2. Meaning with 30 seconds and a bit of change to work, G2 have to make that final gasping execute. And you have a Fenrir, a Melusi, D4 still available on P9, and the hatching kitchen isn't open. G2 are forced into desperate measures, and it will get impact tricked. They're running out of time, no way out, and I have a feeling no matter how this round goes, G2 are in deep trouble. 15 seconds, and it feels like pressure from main stairs, dirt tunnel, and the hatch will all arrive simultaneously, and Falcons are aware of it. Main stairs gets compromised. No, Doki finds a second, but it might all be a little bit too late. The drop is there, and Falcons have to scrap and brawl inside of Armory. 000 is Virtue. Gemini get one apiece, and Fenrir falls. G2 ice in their veins. Huge round, look near impossible, and they get it done.
G2 had no right. They had no right with 20 seconds left in the scenario that they were in to win that round, but they did. Nice to see the admins reminding Falcons to stay hydrated. Chat, make sure you're hydrated as well. One person who I know for a fact will be is Fresh, because you guys love to make sure he is. What did you see? Go ahead.
Put a pin in that for one sec. We'll circle back, Gibby. If you're next time you're watching the A stream, you see our wonderful friend Fresh on desk, on the glorious desk for the analyst studio. Remind him, hydrate. Put that in chat every time you see him. But Gibby, back to your point.
Yeah, what did you see in the end of that round that allowed G2 to win the round? Because it seemed like they had 3 players left alive, and they just said, you know what? Dirt, kitchen hatch, main stairs, everybody go, and hopefully something will happen. And they made it work.
Well, a good decision was made. Basically, we know we have to put pressure via the kitchen hatch, so they had someone ready for that. Dirt was open, so a late rotation was called to have someone push from Dirt as well. Doki had main stairs, and it was a multi-pronged attack. It wasn't one-dimensional as perhaps I might have led it to be. Doki winning that fight, that long corridor from bottom main, was huge. Actually critical to winning that round. He doesn't win that fight, the round goes differently. That opened up, that put all the pressure on Falcons, made them uncomfortable in that position, and G2 were able to pick them off one by one. But a very nervous round, as it was 000, and a single well-timed C4 could have been enough to unravel the round. But G2, excellent recovery from them, and Falcons keep up that very good early stage that they had previously, though.
Yeah, and that'll do G2's confidence the world of good. Winning an ugly round is so important sometimes for just building your momentum, because of course, you're not going to be perfect. We don't see perfection in Siege very often. One of the closest I ever seen to perfection was, of course, G2 in Copenhagen. We'll talk about that game all year long for how well they played, but you need to win the ugly rounds, and that's what they did. Now you're pushing a bit more pressure on the Falcons. You can see that Doki's going to put pressure on Billiards as they look to take control of Kitchen. O'Kills is going to create an angle that's favorable for him as he looks towards the hill, and P9 will manage to catch out Benja as he was making a move for blue. Virtue is going hunting for the refrag, but P9 is not one to go down without a fight. Kodos is going to drop to Gemini, and Alamao's in the middle of sight already.
This is huge from G2. Massive out of control, and this puts pressure. This is a vocal point the Falcons need to react to. We see P9 trying to do so, but ultimately falls to that gunfight, and he's got a perfect position. If you drop Moto, you're done. And that's exactly what happens to 2 members of Falcons. Triple kill for Alamao, leaving O'Kills alone. The bomb is down. This retake nigh impossible. He'll tap away the looks for one head of a G3 player, but nothing connects. Give himself a little bit of extra cover, but it's all but over. 4K for Alamao, and a huge individual impact from G2. That's what they need, and that's more like your reigning world champions.
Remember when I said he was going to have a big impact in the game? I meant this one. This is the map that I really meant it on. But that
so
is
what you're saying is you were looking into the future. I mean, you did mistake Clubhouse for Cafe in the pre-show, so I'm not surprised you made that there. So
exactly,
giving Alamo the look of the Irish buff for this one.
Well, look, whenever G2 made the decision to bring him to Europe, they invested a lot. You know, they went global. They brought Virtue from OCE. They brought Alamao over from Brazil. They made an effort. They made a big investment in him, knowing that on his day, he can be the difference maker. He's the IGL of this side. Mechanically, he is up there. I'm really impressed by that round. But again, remember whenever we looked at the W7M game against G2, where W7M in the first minute of the round just walked into sight on basement and were able to catch G2 cold. G2 just did the same thing, only they did it down through the hatch, where they dropped that hatch in through Billiards, and Alma was able to take control.
Locate a bomb and defuse it.
It was a very, very similar one. I was trying to actually draw my mind back to it. I was like, huh. I couldn't visualize it. It's been lost. We've had so much action today. So many games to follow. So much tier 1 siege. I think both me and you are delighted to have more tier 1 siege going on. I'm pretty sure everyone in chat is happy to have more tier 1 siege going on. It's felt like so long ago since we got to see some of the best teams in the world lock horns play for this or play for prize like this in a very early opening Logi hatch now. Pressure applied to Falcons directly. Surely, Gemini will be able to get this breach for reasonably free. Believe only a mute jammer at best is going to be placed on it. He can go up high, deploy that, and it'll avoid the radius of the mute jammer. So that's a free breach on Jacuzzi, and pressure directly applied now towards bathroom.
Little bit higher. There you go. Gemini should now get that breach. P9 still playing over by Jim. No, it's his job to move between bathroom, but there's 2 kills on the trot. 3 now as Joker adds another one. G2 tried to up the tempo. They all sent it through the hatch, and well, that plan didn't go pretty well. And Falcons are back in it.
A flawless round. I mean, if you want to reply to 2 rounds lost, a flawless round like that, perfect. As you said, G2 wanted to bring in a little bit of extra tempo, a little bit of extra pace and speed, and it fell a little bit short. The starting pistol fired off, and they didn't quite get out of the blocks. They kind of fell straight on their face and were left by the dust of the Falcons. Very well played from them. G2 still lead in this matchup, but there is life in Falcons. They can still react to this. I'm very intrigued to see how this continues to play out as we go to the basement yet again. 3rd time's the charm, perhaps, Falcons.
Well, for them, they hope so. You know, you gotta find some way now to stop G2 from taking the site. The first time they took it, it was a 5-second push that won it. The second time, they upped the tempo tenfold and made their way on the site very quickly. And the big thing is, we always say this, whenever you're attacking basement and the opposition are playing a heavy roam game, if you can get towards site quickly and cut off their retreat to site, it's very, very difficult to lose the round. It's one of those scenarios where it's harder to win the round from that point than it is to lose. And that's the risk you take when you go for a heavy roam game. But at the same time, it does take a bit of bravery from attacking sides to make that call to go all in on the fast approach.
It's often a sign of either confidence, a good shot calling, or a miscommunication when a team gets that fast and aggressive, if you know what I mean. Sometimes you see a weakness, and you're probing it long enough, and you can just like, yeah, let's go, guys. Or it's a very good reactionary play. I think I'm very curious to what the call was made, the G2 that led to that play getting made, because Falcons were so ready for it, so aggressively ready, as Benja finds the opening pick, and G2 have read Falcons like a book. They knew there was going to be an upstairs presence inside of construction, but they got aggressive, they counter it, and there's a very heavy roam from them. Falcons, I'd consider a fallback site. Now, you don't want to lose one more player of this. Valkyrie goes upstairs as Doki will claim one more member of Falcons. P9 gets a trade back to Benja. Action everywhere across the map so early here on the basement defense. But honestly, G2 in a great position. One more pick and they might be able to cascade on the side. But P9 in a great position. One player in stock and this can be huge. Impact tricks it as well. Denies to him Hibana pellets to retreat all the way to oil pit.
Yeah, Valk impact as well, which is not something you see every single day. O'Kill is still waiting by Adam as well. You do, but that's just by mistake.
No, I'd never misclick my second gadget. Never.
Never been killed by a better player either. It's always siege timing. You know, never lost the gunfight. One would say.
I've lost fights to much better players. Just never when I'm in a rank stack with you. So, minute 10 left in this round. G2 at man advantage, and they're beginning to work through the verticality. Shalad in a great position aggressively. Here's that nade. Pin getting pulled, fall back, and escapes through that verticality set. Trap laying for him, doesn't catch him, and he can escape back this fight. Kitchen hatch still reinforced. Moto hatch still reinforced. That's going to be vital seconds, and perhaps potential for an impact trick to delay even more time on that main kitchen hatch. Doki gets a Gemini replicator in. Don't know what's there. Free information that he might be able to sneak in and catch them napping.
Yeah, they've fully cleared the space below the hatch as well, which will allow it. But now you got to deal with dirt, and P9 is in position to find that kill, so it's back to a 3 versus 3. Whatever they drop, They need to deal with the long angle that's being held. O'Kills tosses the smoke, which will choke out even more time, but Doki pushed down through main in the midst of all the action. P9 pre-fires through, but the smoke's going to do him a bit of problem. Alamo and Gemini get one apiece, and there's Shalad. Peeks through, gets a second one. It's a 1 versus 1 now, Alamo. But is he got time to get the case down? He's going to go for the res, but the angle is there. Shalad wins it. What a solo play in that 1 versus 3.
Oh my, what a play from Shalad. Finds a miracle against G2. It looked to be another round for the European side, but one player in a 1 versus 3 gets the job done, and we draw level. What a matchup this is, and you gotta feel G2. Pressure's on. You are being tested against a team that is showing that they are of a great caliber. Can they find a way back in this? Will Falcons build up that momentum? Or can G2 get themselves back into that? Remember, Cafe, memories of that, phantoms of that game pass or map pass will still be sitting with G2. No matter how much they try to shake it, they'll know how difficult that matchup was, and Clubhouse might be the same again.
That is one of those rounds. If G2 go home, that's the one they look back at and say, yeah, we should have won that. You know, could Alamo have planted? Could he have picked up the diffuser? Yes. Could it have been a case where he went to pick up the diffuser, but the first thing that came up on F was the res instead of the diffuser? That could have happened as well. I think maybe that's probably what happened in that scenario. But take nothing away. Shalad got the kills, pushed up through the stairs, played the vert because he knew the time was in his favor. Really well played.
You gotta imagine again, has to finish the reload of the SMG11 and sees the Book of Alamau in that revive animation. It's like, well, I gotta do what I gotta do. It's a freebie. I'll take it. And an easy 1v3 for Shalad. Very, very well done indeed. G2 need to find an answer. They started off strong in this. Very good reads of that Falcons defense. Began to waver. Falcons finding a way to win those messy, unclean rounds. That's what you need to do. So, exothermic charge will detonate, and this main wall will be wide open for G2 to sit, post up, and hold and split that side. As Shalad on a little bit of an adventure excursion down in bar.
Yeah, G2 managed to get the wall open. Doki's pushed his way down. Benja's holding the cross as well, as Shalad needs to be careful, but he might just find this one. Steps in, the vault gives away his noise, gets one, but it's traded back. That's okay. Take your 1-for-1 trade. Both sides will be pretty okay with what just happened. Big problem is Benja, though, not having the sort of impact you would expect. The solution has really not been pretty bright. 1 in 5 so far. In reality, it's Alamo and Doki that are clawing G2 through this one through only 4 rounds. P9 again, though, is having himself a game.
P9 has been activated in this series and has been a proper menace for G2. Ashguard stands up to clear the keeper barriers for Alamau, but a difficult fight. The fire goes out from Capital, forcing a fight, but Alamau loses it. Huge from Joker, looks to find a second and does so. G2 line up 1 by 1. O'Kills finds Doki, and Gemini alone again. Feels like a recurring story. That shotgun in blue will be a nightmare to fight. Falcons in control again, and they should be able to coast this round out to absolute victory, and they'll take the lead of this map. What a performance from them so far.
Cybertruck DMR, by the way. Just want to point that out there. It is.
Earning more fans is Joker. More people will have his flair in the subreddit now, I guarantee. I'll see more AJoker619 fans as we see Gemini getting 1 back at least on the O-kills. But 18 seconds, is it just a fever dream that this might be doable? I think it's pretty safe to say this round is wrapped up and done. Has to go through an Aruni gate, and that's going to be 1 more for the Cybertruck DMR, posted up on rafters. And they're loving life right now, leading against the reigning invitational champions. What a performance, and they look exceptional so far as well.
Imagine people say that the 1.5 is the be all and end all on every gun that it's available on. Cybertruck.
We've seen a Thor with a shotgun in protest at a 1.5 and now refusal to use it. What? Cybertruck, clearly the best scope in the game. I think we should give that to everyone. Oh, wait, they already have it all. So don't worry about 1.5s. Worry about your Cybertruck. Seemingly the best scope in the game.
So, with that, looks like the coaches, there's now been a timeout called, and there's a little bit of an inquest maybe in the G2 side as to what has happened. 2 rounds back to back where they get players in positions to execute. You looked at it, you had Virtue, he used the Capital Bolt, the Firebolt, to freeze the player on benches in position. They had the fact they used Doki on Iana to find out exactly where he was with the clone, but they lost their one. And in that round, winning that one was the difference. If they were able to get that kill, you get full garage control, then you can start putting pressure towards site. It just goes to show how in a game of Siege, every gunfight matters.
Siege is the game of the finest margins, Gibby. I think you'll agree with me on that one. And it can be a death by 1,000 paper cuts for G2. You see these little mistakes creeping in, these positions where they're losing 1vx's, right? That Shalad clutch, realistically, he shouldn't win that. The 1 versus 3. You should not win that against a team playing and going through that procedures correctly unless it's a miracle. G2 need to find a way back into this one, because if you let momentum, you let Falcons build on this and go and build this energy, it can be difficult to slow down. But little mistakes adding up, G2 feeling that pressure now, to where that you need them to settle in. They've just had Fabian talk to them, begin to correct those mistakes. You need to do that now, because if you go in 3-3 on the half, it's basically a full reset and you have 6 rounds to decide the victor.
See, this is the thing. Falcons take a 4-2 split on a map like Clubhouse. They're going to be feeling really good about themselves. At 3-3, G2 will breathe a sigh of relief that they got it done. Again, the rounds that they have won have not necessarily been pretty. You had the rush and then you had the 5-second push. Now they're going to get that breach open. Again, you're pushing over towards bar, but this is one part of that task. Virtue has the case all by himself on the entrance. Shalad takes a beating in that gunfight, and you know what? He decides he's going to retreat back and let someone else be the front line of the defense. Honestly, I think that's the smart decision, the business decision that Shalad has just made, because you're Azami. You need to stay alive. You need to keep regenerating those Kiba barriers.
Staying alive, they'll live a fight another day also means your utility and your weapons stay in the fight a little bit later. Benji will find the opening, that's on the O kills, and that's what G2 need. Find the opening and press the advantage from there. But can they do so? Joker in a very difficult position, looking for the find ahead, but Benji's been left in DB outside. Virtue will find the Joker. Missing his C4 tossed out to the ether, doesn't connect, doesn't land. But Benja, if recovered, will be left on 20 HP. A single stray round will be enough to shut him down. And a single point of HP is not enough to scare Shalad. He's down playing below that hatch, waiting for perhaps any member of G2 to vault straight in. As Gemini will get that jacuzzi hatch open just like that.
Well, not yet. Sounds like, did he put it a little bit too low again?
No,
there we go. He had to place it. He gets it open, and now that puts more pressure. You got Doki back on his feet. That brings 2 more, or Benja back on his feet. That brings 2 more nades into play as well. So where do we go from here? Well, let's just put some pressure on site, but P9 finds a very important one. They get another one. It's a 3 versus 1 now, though, as Virtue, Doki, and Alamau look to shut down Shalad, and they do. And G2 take a 3-3 half, and well, now they can begin building. But still, if you had have offered Falcons a 3-3 half on this map with a 1-0 lead in the series already, they would have taken your arm with that offer.
I agree with that one completely. To be in such a great position again, it is not bad to be 3-3. Most games in the current climate of Siege end 3-3 on the opening half. So it's following the script. The thing that's not following the script, I think to many people watching this at home, will be the 1-0 lead in the series for Falcons. So, the offense. This is a different beast completely for a side like this. They love aggression. They love being in your face. But this map can present some difficult positions to do that. Will G2 use an expansive roam to make this site a very large maze, a task to clear with a perfectly timed drop-down escape? Or will they bunker up and invite that pressure and try and rely on their own mechanics, with time being a massive pressure? I think the answer is a bit of a roam presence, because I see that Mozzie and get instant flashbacks to an extension SSG used to do many moons ago, even though it looks very, very different these days.
We got to see it in the flesh last year, the Gamers8 when SSG were playing, but again, the game has moved on. There's obviously a plethora of new operators that can be used as well that make that hold a little bit more difficult than it used to be. So what are Falcons going to do on attack? Well, they're going to clear the map. You get yourself up, you've got IQ, you can use that IQ to work out where those FNATs are, you can use it to work out where those Mozzie pests, but again, remember, top tip for you and your rank team, don't say you've lost your drone to a Mozzie or you've lost your drone, you disabled a Mozzie pest. You always got to find the good.
Exactly. You didn't lose a drone, you cleared defender utility. That's all you've done. I mean, yeah, you've lost one of the most important bits of kit you have as an attacker, but it doesn't matter. Your teammates don't need to know that. So, we get into this one. Falcons, they want to go for that roam clear. They want to try and clear the entirety of the site, but will they be able to do that effectively and efficiently, considering the time constraints are going to feel Doki and Benja upstairs, and that's going to be a very dangerous combination if relying or asked upon their gunplay. We see the double use of those bandit wires, and Benja can trick this as well, and that's exactly what he'll do. So that's not open. Falcons, a little bit beaten to the punch there by G2, and that might begin to mix up their strategy as Alan. P9's in sight. P9 just walked in blue. He saw the extensive roam and realized sight's going to be a little bit weak. He's in AK, and do G2 know about this?
Well, surely Virtue heard it. Surely the two players that are close by heard that noise. But I don't know what it is about G2. They're so susceptible to it, but there's P9 finding his kill. It just seems like if you want to pressure G2, push down blue and go straight into sight. 1 minute and 10 seconds to go. He's all alone, all by himself, no diffuser, so he's going to have to battle out, but there's another kill! Almost finds the third onto Gemini, but he holds his ground. But has the damage been done? Joker is in sight. He's got the case in his hands, but I think he needs to find one more kill to be comfortable in this scenario. Well, actually, he finds himself a position in long. Gemini tries to hold a spot, but Kodos finds another one. This is the weakness, the Achilles heel of G2 that has been exposed. Case goes down. So does pretty much all the chance of G2. It's all down to Alamau now. Playing the long angle, but no way Falcons lose this round from here.
I hope you just haven't cursed it for them, but what a play. P9 waltzes down blue, straight in the sight, and a weakness that we've seen exposed against G2 several times. Massive extension, met by direct action, and a 3k unravel G2, and that was huge. Falcons looked to be a little bit stumped, you know. Benjamaster on the bandit trick upstairs presented a problem. They couldn't clear that roam effectively within a good time limit. So, why worry about a roam clear when you can walk directly in the site? Virtue falls in dirt, meaning that's the invitation, that's the main route they'll take, and that's what they done. Falcons flood the site, get the case down, and win a round, and they get themselves one step closer. 1 step, 1 inch closer to claiming a best of 3 victory over G2. What a result that will be for the local team.
Here's the thing though, right? If you want to roam with 2 players, or even 3, on this map, it means that there's going to be one direct avenue to site that is completely vacant, right? Because Virtue's holding dirt, that's one of them shut down. The chances are the next player is going to be playing somewhere around main stairs, or they're going to be playing a generator. With G2, usually they keep a player in and around church, they keep a player around main. So that means if you want to run 2 roamers, you're leaving blue completely open. They tried to stop the push by using the FNATs instead to signal to the players on site that somebody stepped in, but that didn't work. If a teams can keep picking up on the strat, G2 will have to change the way they defend the site.
I think I'm going to look at Gibby. It's not like it's a new thing, right? Think about during SSG's reign of dominance when they won the invitation. This map was literally their domain, and everyone knew SSG would do their big roam, and if you just push direct, you'd have control. SSG would use a Legion inside of blue, instead of any of those fast access points to give a very clear clue that someone's pushing, and be a problem to deal with, taking them out of the fight for a brief moment. The sound of a dread mine's not that loud. It can fade into the action, fade behind comms, and I think that's what happened to Virtue. That's what Falcons capitalized upon, but they're not going to be able to do that one again. All right, this is a hope not for G2's sake, as Alma finds the opening. Joker falls first.
That's big for G2. They really need this round. They're trailing 4-3 here on Clubhouse. Alamau's going to go hunting. Just creeps his way past the drone, realizes that it's not active, and there's Shalad though pulling one back. The drone still has no clue that Alamau is playing in this position. He does lose the gunfight though. Falcons take a 4-3 lead. Anything and everything that could go wrong for G2 is, but it's because of how well Falcons are playing, and it's because of how well they're able to enable themselves to win these gunfights.
That's the big thing. Even if you lose that opening engagement, if you can find that trade back at a decent time and reply to your opposition, that's huge. Ben just summoned into a little bit of pressure upstairs as Logi's been cracked open, and this is where you begin to feel for G2. Pressure mounts. That Falcons have another round, and they are really in the deep water for this. Minute 10 to go, and Doki falls. Shalad finds that. Benja needs to drop, but it's over! Just like that, the roam was compromised, and there's nothing they can do. Falcons in control.
I don't know. I just don't know what G2 are doing wrong. Falcons are playing out of their skins, out of their minds. Again, this is the team that caught everyone's attention last year. They played well. They won their region in stage 1. They got to phase 2 of the major. And once more on home turf, they are putting in big performances against big teams. This is so good from Falcons, and they are now just 2 rounds away from sending the world champions home.
Oh, that still has a strange flavor, doesn't it, to say that one? Falcons, a team that's, basically almost a 1-year anniversary since their introduction to this tier 1 level of competition, international system of Siege. They made that grand stage debut last year at Gamers8, where they went all the way to the final against BDS and forced it to a long best of 5 series where they went 12 rounds every single time. Now, 1 round away from map and series point against the reigning world champions. Can they get it done?
Well, 1 round at a time. That is the way they need to play from this point on. They're beginning to push in. They've got they look at where they're droning. They're droning out garage again. They've realized that rafters is clear. They leave the drone in position to watch their flag, and they're just gonna, have a little look down an oil pit as well to make sure that no sneaky G2 players are on the move. But look where Shalad is already. The only problem he has is the fact that there's 2 sets of barbed wire on those stairs. And I think that's another counter to G2 trying to stop giving Falcons easy access to site.
Good decision. A good adaptation made from G2. Falcons, they're very good at just finding a way in the site. That's what they're good at. They want to take gunfights. They know their expertise. They know their ability mechanically is where they're strongest. So if they can find a way in, they'll take that opportunity every single time. Virtue, close to Joker in this position. He'll hear that DMR in construction, but he'll be patient. He'll wait as Alamau close to O kills as well. And Falcons just waiting to pull that trigger to find these opening engagements.
Again, G2 need to do something to stop this assault. Doki is going to get put to DBNO as the nade is going to come through. Or the shots from, you think, Shalad, that or was a Joker, causes a bit of a problem. Alamau stepping up closer and closer to the breach to step on in, and that should have been a freebie, and there it is. It's a 5 versus 3 now. Benja pulls it back, 4 versus 3, but still a big opportunity. Another kill comes through as Joker picks up that one. It's all down to Gemini. All Falcons pushing their way to get to map and series point. What can the Italian do? This is the moments that they picked him up to try to clutch from these 1vx's with it, and Doki is a sacrificial lamb. He's betting on Doki to get him some intel. He goes for the fight, but he gets taken down, and Falcons move within 1 round of sending the world champions home.
What a storyline this could be. G2 on the precipice of leaving Gamers8 basically empty-handed. What an upset that would be. Gibson, it almost feels weird to say, but you know what I'm getting flashbacks of? I am getting flashbacks of the Raleigh Major, where G2 fell apart at the end. Virtue, head in hands. Where do they have an answer? What can they do? What do they have left? You can feel that energy in the camp. G2, worried, concerned, beginning to question what they have to do to beat Falcons. Great run of form on the offense. I was going to question how good they could be against a team that can be as structured and well-oiled as G2. The answer, exactly what we expected. Falcons show up and do what they do best. Find gunfights, win gunfights, take rounds. Can they do it one more time to send G2 home?
This is the thing. Everything you've done in the past is over the minute you step into the server. And Falcons are playing world champions, but in this game, they have been the better team. They're winning more gunfights. They're playing more structured. They're playing better as a team. There's more cohesion. They deserve to be winning this game. They deserve to have 3 attempts at match point. G2 will need to have a serious introspective look, even if they do win this game, because things are looking very bad right now, especially with the fact that we're not overly far away from the rest of the competitive calendar as well. Look at the confidence, though. Shalad is going to step straight through, gets in a 1v1 with Valk, manages to avoid the shots, and steps away. Doesn't lose his life. Alamau missing the opportunity to get the opener. But again, for Falcons, that is not a bad position to be in.
Early challenging, and look at this from G2. They don't want to roam anymore. They've known that, okay, perhaps we got a little bit overcomplicated. We played too much into the map, too much into what we wanted to do. And all bunkered up on site. But I think Falcons have realized this. They know they have basically the whole map to run around and get control with, and they can find these fights, look for these fights however they want. So much time that's going to make themselves little highways of rotation. They can hit whatever side of the map they want. Shalad on that knock. Again, remember, the nerf is in place, or the change is in place. No longer muffles the sound of footsteps, only works on observation tools. That was in the recent patch. We're playing on that, of course, here. They'll begin to probe and look for an entryway down the main stairs. 2 bodies stacking up, Okas with a nade primed and ready as well. Then they're deep and does so, clears utility from that. G2, begin to feel the squeeze, begin to feel that pressure.
But still 5 players alive and well in the server. At that point, that could be the most important thing here for G2. Minute and 10 seconds, and now you can see utility being caught as those discs try to stop this push. But again, Falcons not rushing into anything, not being overly aggressive. But Shalad makes that move. Off in the distance. There's your opener. And he moves up oil pit again. Is that the key? Is that the signal weapon for Falcons to make their move? It looks like not just yet.
Falcons hit and run tactics have been deployed. Now, 2 players begin to put pressure and encroach on the blue. A must-win engagement for Gemini now. Feeling the pressure, feeling the weight of that G2 badge on his shoulder. 30 seconds remain. Is this the final 30 seconds G2 will play at Gamers8 this year? Only time can tell, but Falcons will wait. They're holding on. They don't want to pull the trigger too early. And a wise decision. 20 seconds, and here comes Joker creeping in. He walks down long. They have got no idea, but Virtue is there to save the day. A flurry of kills. A P9 finds 2. 10 seconds. Can G2 do it? Oh, kills finds Doki, but the case is cold. Virtue needs to clutch up once again for his team, and he cannot do it. Falcons topple Giants. G2 fall, and they go home early.
They saw G2 playing in their backyard in Saudi Arabia, and they put them back to the plane. World champions go home. 75,000 in the back pocket, but the Falcons continue to do what they always do, and that is turn up on home turf. They are going on to the next round. Finally, we get a little sight of Valentino as well. He is loving seeing his teammates take this win, but they're still in